empty. A fire breaks out inside a Perth rubbish truck, but what happens next? And it's hard to believe, but this is a newborn, the 13-pound giant getting lots of love. But first it's time for sport with Joshua Dwayne. And sorry. I've got a question for you, and that is the Dockers are taking a gamble with their latest deal. I had a mental blank there. Sorry about that, Josh.
He's one of their
I went back in time. Yeah.
I'll forgive you just this once. He is one of their best young players, but Ed Langdon is officially out the door, and they're dancing with the Demons in a big pick swap. The details next. Major changes brewing in Adelaide as two key men are sent packing, and jumping for joy as Warner shakes his Ashes shackles. Fremantle's midfield stocks continue to dwindle with Ed Langdon traded to Melbourne. The Dockers hoping the Demons struggle again in 2020 with future picks changing hands in the deal.
The Demons are sitting pretty, securing the second major piece to their trade puzzle. Midfielder Ed Langdon now in red and blue.
Yeah, really happy we came to this trade period with two targets, and it was Adam Tomlinson and Ed Langdon, and essentially a strong need for our footy club. The guys who can play on the wing and are elite runners. Langdon
heads to Melbourne along with Fremantle's pick 26 and next year's fourth round selection. In return, the Dockers receive picks 22, 79 and a future second rounder. But Brad Hill ends week one of trade period still as a Docker, with days running out for St Kilda to strike a deal to satisfy Fremantle. Melbourne defender Sam Frost is off to Hawthorn. A complex trade sees Frost pick 42, 61 and a future fourth rounder go to the Hawks in exchange for pick 50 and a future second round selection.
He's got an opportunity to go to Hawthorn on a longer term deal, and we wish him all the best and hope that he performs well.
Sydney's negotiations to get Bombers forward Joe Danaher have come to a halt. Essendon after one of the Swans' tall forwards for a deal to take place.
It's about replacing your key forward, and if the key forward's not in the draft, then the value of that play actually goes up. And in this case, he's irreplaceable for us.
Meanwhile, the Eagles are making a slight move up the draft order, swapping picks 52 and 64 for Brisbane's 46 and 91. Keziah Dawn, 9 News.
Adelaide footy boss Brett Burton and assistant coach Scott Camporelli are without a job following the completion of the Crows' external review, which revealed problems in the club's leadership and culture. Their sackings come almost 2 months after the resignation of head coach Don Pike.
We just felt as though some change was required to enable us to almost draw a line in the sand and look forward, and it just then became a question about what that change was. And having spoken to a bunch of players this morning, they're pretty driven about achieving the success that we all want.
Pike's replacement will be announced next week with experienced assistants Scott Burns and Matthew Nix, the front runners. Western Australia holds the upper hand after day 2 of their Sheffield Shield clash with Tasmania. On a rain-affected day, the Tassie top order found it tough to establish any sort of partnership. Skipper Jordan Silk, their highest scorer, with 44. Young paceman Cameron Green did the damage for the hosts as his stocks continue to rise. Matthew Wade providing some hope for Tasmania's chase with a patient 40. The revival looking strong until the skipper chimed in with a breakthrough.
As Mitch Marsh gets through the defence of Ben McDermott and strikes the blow that WA needed.
Elsewhere, David Warner, well, he's shaken his Ashes woes, posting his first red ball century in almost 2 years. Glory sensation Chris Economides feels he's ready to take the next step in his career after completing his first full pre-season in Perth. The 24-year-old is expecting to play more minutes this season, starting with a battle with the Brisbane Roar on Sunday. As reigning young footballer of the year, Chris Economides faces plenty of overseas interest, but he's feeling right at home in Perth, keen to take the next big step this season.
I'm miles ahead of where I was this time last year as a player, so the goal is just to grow personally, and that'll come through a lot of games and a lot of team success.
The Socceroos have uncovered a new gem.
He does. He scored on international debut.
Scottish-born defender Harry Souttar only arrived in Australia this week to play for his mother's home country, scoring twice in the 5-0 win over Nepal.
It's a dream come true. When I came over here and concentrating for the game, I was just on about a clean sheet. Just get a clean sheet and let the strikers do the rest. So I'm absolutely thrilled to get the 2 goals, and importantly the win as well.
Their next World Cup qualifier is against Chinese Taipei on Tuesday. And finally tonight, it's been an amazing year for Ash Barty, winning her first Grand Slam title and rising to #1 in the world. And now another major honour. Barty receiving the Don Award for Australia's most inspirational sports person, handed the prize at a gala event in Melbourne. Tomo, that is the door shut on another week in sport. I'll be back tomorrow, but enjoy your weekend.
Very good. Well done. Josh Dwayne did sit in that chair for a while, but Josh Dorr, congratulations. And super stuff, mate. You have a great weekend as well. Blow to retirees as big banks slash their savings rates, which